And of course, he regenerates way too fast. We can't even see it. Zerg might be a bad example. Let me do another Hydralisk. So he goes on to 78, which is of course 12 from 90. But a Roach, regenerates so fast. That's actually a bad example. Let me use an Ultralisk. So he's got 600 health. He should have 79. 89, I meant. 89. Sorry, that was bad math. Anyway, the point is, the armor value is subtracted from the amount. Now, there are additional modifiers, so we can find an additional, some kind of, let's say. Sometimes units will say has a bonus against certain types of units, and actually, I'm surprised I can't find any Zerg units that have any bonuses. Maybe that's just the way that Zerg is. An example would be the Marauder, okay? So the Marauder we went over in the first one was that guy that shoots off the big, whatever, like the little grenade or something like that. And the Roach is an armored target, and if we were to see the Marauder, it would say, like it says right here, it says damage 16. It would say damage 16, and in parentheses, either beside it or below it, it says additional damage against armored units, because that's what he kind of hard counters, more or less. That doesn't mean if you have a bunch of Marauders and your opponent has Roaches, you're always going to win. It means you have an advantage. So it's not like a hard counter system such as Command & Conquer Generals or CNC3. It's more like you have the advantage, make use of it. So yeah, I could, if we're doing dance around and I find a Marauder here, and I burrow and I get my health back, and I come back when I kill you, I out microed you. So it's like that's pretty simple micro, but whatever, that's how it works. Let's see. I think I went over creep tumors. Okay, the creep tumor. Yeah, I think I did. Never mind. You can produce more creep tumors. Yeah, whatever. Okay, whatever those. So yeah, Zerg. So that's kind of how armor works, and then the upgrades work the same way with attacking. You can increase the attack. So I think we got our first upgrade done. We should have a Roach that has level 1, and now it says 3 instead of 2. It used to say plus what it added, but it doesn't say that anymore. So, but we know it added 1 for that level, and it's going to add 1 to the next level, 1 to the next level after that. So here I'm going to upgrade level 1 missile attacks, and here I'm going to upgrade level 2 carapace, however you say that. And same thing with flyers. You can just keep upgrading your units. And there was a game I casted with Conflict, a GR member, fighting someone that I don't know, someone that he found online, and he was fighting. Conflict was Protoss fighting this guy who was making tons of Roaches, and he had so many Roaches, and the big thing about it all was like he was not upgrading his units, right? So his opponent had like Roaches with 2/2 upgrades, makes them so much stronger, because you can consider the fact that I don't know how much it's going to give on attack. These upgrades are like, okay, melee attacks level 2, 150 minerals, 150 Vespene gas. That's the price of like one single unit. But you upgrade that, and it does a global upgrade for every unit. It's not something you can just neglect to not get upgrades. It's important. But at the same time, you don't want to get. It's not like you create a tech building and you're like you queue up all the upgrades in a spaz to get your unit strong, because then your opponent's gonna overwhelm you with superior numbers. So it's a balancing act. I don't know. It's something that you'll learn. It's just something that you can just kind of get a feel for. But try to remember to always go back to your, base and just kind of see what upgrades you have, what you don't have. Some of them are more important than others. Like you want to get Zergling speed out of here, which I've got, and this is a different special for the Zerglings to attack faster, and that's good. Make them say late game, stuff like that. But for the most part, you kind of keep your upgrades as you're going your game along. Probably a good rule of thumb is, I don't know, maybe every 5 or 6 minutes. You make sure your units are upgraded as much as your opponents or stronger. So, yeah, that's basically about it, though. I got everything in mind out of the way here. There was one more thing I was going to say. Let's see. We went over upgrades, went over units. Oh yeah, spine crawlers and spore crawlers. So it's here's something interesting. When you lose a hatchery, your larvae sit here, and they have like the most armor in the game. They have 10 armor. That's the most armor in the game by far. Another thing that's interesting is that Terran has some upgrades for their buildings to give their buildings additional armor, and their planetary fortress that upgrade gives the command center more armor, which reaches a total of 5. But but still, it doesn't. It's only half the larva, so the larva's kind of silly in that way. But you can queue up these units still and make a bunch of drones here. But what's interesting about Zerg defenses is, you can also set individual rally points for eggs if you want to, so you make something special. But what's interesting about spine crawlers is that they, of course, can crawl. So you hit, it's R. They have a different hotkey for that versus normal burrowing, because if you have a bunch of units selected, and I don't know, it just makes it dicey. You don't want these guys to go down at the same time, because they have kind of like a long time animation in which they actually burrow. Get a drink of water real quick. So that's how it works. You hit R, and these guys move pretty quickly on the creep, right? So you see, like, things are getting, I don't know, you want to pull back for whatever reason, you can pull your dudes, and then you just kind of place them one at a time. That's how it works. Let's see if that works. Yeah, just kind of, yep, same way I did the drones. And now the choke points, instead of right here, I have a different choke point right here that come up this way. The new thing about Starcraft 2 is the creep goes up and down the ramps, which is really nice. It gives you that bonus to your units you didn't have before. And it works the same way with spore crawlers. You just go BW. That makes sense. BW. Okay, whatever. Same way you can. Oop, that's not what I want to do. Everyone stop. Let's see. B crawler W. That's what I hit. Okay. So same thing. It's kind of the same unit more or less, but the difference between with spore crawlers is that they are detectors. So that is Zerg's stationary detector. Each team has about one motion detector that moves and one that stays still. I think that Terran might have more than that. I'm not sure. Anyway, so it is tempting to just make a ton of defenses because it's like cool, but you're gonna get, if your opponent sees making all kinds of defenses, like if I start making tons of these, these crazy stabbing, McStab, stab things, and just going crazy, he's gonna get artillery, and if you don't have enough units to compensate, you're gonna be stuck in the mud. So scouting is the name of the game. And you gotta know what your opponent is doing. It's also interesting I want to see some players be able to some high macro. This is just a side note. I can't wait to see this game and get to some real pro players, people with Korean blood. Basically, macro the crap out of Zerg, because I feel like this team has so much potential. Just producing obscene amounts of units and just taking over the map with ridiculous amounts of creep. If you had the 400 APM actions per minute, basically every time you click, you create an action. If you do something meaningful, what could they do? And it's just a side thought. Anyway, so yeah, that is Zerg. Definitely one of my top 3 races, but I'm Dick. And yeah, thanks for watching. I think that's it. Let me double check everything here. There was one thing I want to say. Whenever I have all my hatcheries grouped up here, you notice that there are 2 lines. So for example, this guy is targeting. Okay, we can target our extractor. So when I make a drone, he's going to come out and he's going to go straight to the extractor, right? That's where the rally point is. But if I click out here, we have 2 rally points. And this is the only building that can do this is the Zerg Command Center, hatchery, lair, or hive. And the reason for that is because since both units, both combat, there the drone goes, since both combat and working units come out of the same building, if I create drone, Zergling, Overlord, right, I just did hit DZV, all the working units are going to go to this place, going to follow this orange line. The combat units are going to follow this line, which is so helpful, ridiculously easy. So I just grouped this guy with my other hatcheries. So I got all my hatcheries grouped up in this group, and they're kind of weighing point whatever all over the map. I hit S, I hit a bunch of Z's, all kinds of Zerglings, and so they're all going to come, right to this point. But if I do additional drones and stuff, they'll still follow the original orange waypoints, which is like the mineral or like the mining waypoints. So that's one thing you gotta make sure you remember to do is set your waypoints, right? And just to do that, you just click on the building, or have them all grouped up, and right click, that sets one waypoint. Right click on minerals or whatever, So that's how that works. So anyway.